G'day everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of the Risky Rollers podcast. And Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
This is coming out on Christmas Day, if you're ever in Australia, and probably Christmas Eve for the rest
of the world, because we live in the future.
Yes, we've seen the future. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. Stay where you are.
That's it.
And yeah, I'm, as always, joined by Locky.
Yes, hello. I'm also sitting here being very hungover again. Christmas is a hell of a time of the year. It's just very hard.
It really is, yeah.
So much to do in such a short space of time.
And today we'll just be having a bit of a retrospective, a look back on the year and so on and so forth. Before we get right into that, I'll mention, hit us up on Discord to chat with us. There's some great stuff going on down in there. Check us out on Instagram. In fact, there's a bunch of stuff happening on Instagram soon that we'll talk about in a minute. So definitely check that out. Check us out on Patreon if you want to support us and help us keep doing what we're doing and get some exclusive extra stuff, which, again, we'll probably talk about in a moment. And big thanks to our sponsor, Dice Arcade, who you'll hear more from them later on, and we're definitely going to talk a bit more about them through this podcast as well, just looking at what we've done over the year and all the cool stuff we've got in the future.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about that briefly. So we are going to spend a lot of this podcast having a bit of a talk about what has happened, what we have done, and how the year's gone. But we wanted to start it off by coming out of the gate and just being open and honest and explaining what it is that we're going to be doing going forward, which is more of the same but better.
Yes.
So we're taking a 2-week break, which will be the biggest thing that'll change. It was next week. There's nothing coming out because we're all going to be hungover as balls.
Oh yeah.
But so taking a 2-week break. So our next battle report after the epic Christmas one that came out yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Our next battle report will be coming out on the 6th of January for all the patrons, and on the 8th for YouTube.
Yes.
So it's the second weekend of January, and that'll be our first battle report in the new year. It was another one that was picked by our patrons. They chose the armies to be used, and they're the Blood Angels and the Tyranids. So nice Blood of Bile type thing going on there.
Oh yeah.
It was a good game, actually. It was a good game.
It was, yeah, it was. It was
close.
It was, and it's just a good step, a taster of the kind of stuff that's going to be coming. So there's it's opening the floodgates, so to speak. We have a lot planned for next year.
We do. Speaking of which, let's have a quick run through of what we've got planned. Now, we talked a bit about this beforehand. We're not going to go into and give you specific dates or specific promises that we may or may not be able to keep, but we thought we'd let you know what it is we're working on. So the biggest thing that we've had some feedback on that we're definitely looking to implement are custom graphics and like a HUD overlay for our battle reports.
On top of just sort of improving the studio setup, that's going to be done over that break period. So things like better camera shots, better lighting, more included bits and pieces that kind of just create a better show for you guys. Really, so everything's clearer and stuff.
Yeah, might not be too obvious from behind from on the screen when you guys are watching it, but a lot of that is going to be quality of life stuff for us, making it easier for us to film, as well as just letting us do a whole bunch of more stuff with it.
And the quality of life stuff will be reflected in the custom graphics that'll make following the game and keeping up with what's happening and what we're doing a hell of a lot clearer.
Yes, yeah.
There's a process with that, so the graphics are going to come in stages throughout the year in terms of we've got plans on the level of integration of information that we want to put into that. But we're not going to go into those details now. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's going to be the slow trickle out of.
Well, there'll be a big jump forward when we implement them to start with, and then they'll be improved in increments as we go.
Exactly.
Not only for stuff that we want to do now, but also just listening to your feedback on how they appear and how we can make it more interactive and more easy to follow.
That's it, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. But going kind of hand in hand with those graphics is something else that we're working on that I'm really excited about, and I've been fiddling with some different technical side of things, which is live streaming.
Oh yeah,
it's happening.
Yeah.
We've been experimenting a bit with Discord. We've been pretty lax over the last month with actually getting it up on Discord just because everyone is so busy.
December's crazy.
Yeah, finding time in December, like, I'm going to sit down for 3 hours and stream is like, oh god, I don't have 3 hours anywhere.
Well, especially without a infrastructure in place to enable that to happen, it's just too hard.
Right, exactly. But we have been working on getting that infrastructure in place, and also just working on how we're going to manage it from a technical side of things. So
yeah, there are more limitations being in Australia than in other places.
Yeah.
And
not too many though. I think we've managed to overcome a decent portion of those, and make sure.
That old internet problem. That one's a
well, yeah. Hey, look, we
don't have a choice in the matter with that one.
For that. Yeah. So live streaming games, which we're hoping to implement in addition. Don't worry, we're not about to be getting rid of the produced battle report. It's all going to be in addition.
Yeah.
We're looking at live streaming games. Looking at doing a lot more hobby live streams. We've done a few to the Discord already, where we've streamed hobby straight there, and in fact we've streamed a couple of games to the Discord as well, just in testing out the setup and like the structure and angles and just getting a feel for it.
Yeah.
So if you want to be involved with that, want to give us feedback, and just want to see it, jump into the Discord, because that's where it's all happening.
Yeah, on top of that, we're actually including more integration with our Patreon and Discord members.
Yeah.
So
I'll get to that in a minute, because that'll be more of a thing. I'm just going to very quickly finish on the live stream stuff. We're testing it all out in Discord. So jump on there, let us know what you think about how it looks and how it feels to watch, because we're going to nail it on Discord, and then we're going to go live to YouTube and do that regularly.
That's it.
And then, Locky, do you want to take us away on Patreon stuff, as well as the integration with Discord?
Yeah, so basically we want to just give more opportunity and chances for our audience, you guys, everyone out there, to have their say on the kind of content that we produce, because at the end of the day we're producing the content for you guys as well, not only for ourselves but for everyone. So giving all of you a voice or a platform to do that on, and that's even with things like streams, so potentially having one or two members that actually participate on the stream, whether it be in person or via the Discord service, or voting on what they want to see, and that's not specific just to bat reps. It's even things like, oh hey, you guys want us to do something specifically related to hobby, or there's something specific that you want to see, or a person that you want to see on the podcast, or any of those kinds of things. We're trying to really, we noticed we got a significant amount of positive response from doing things like that, from our community that we're creating. So we want to really double down on that next year and push that quite heavily.
So I mean, what that tends to look like is, we're pretty active in the Discord. So even if you're not a patron, you can jump into the Discord and chat with us, and we tend to be pretty responsive, and we'll try and get to all your feedback and stuff, because we love it.
I mean, not even just us, even just everyone else. Like the Discord is super active. It's crazy.
We've had like 5 new members in the last couple of days. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's just really cool because it's not just. I mean, of course we're biased, right? Because it's our little community that we're building. But the culture that's being curated there is really positive. I love it. Yes. It's very, very helpful. It's very, people are asking rules questions. People are asking this, the jokey part. It's kind of serious but not too serious, and people are very accommodating with tips on hobby, and it's just really nice. I love what it is, and that's one of my goals, and always has been, is to curate a culture within this community, and so far making our community remain a good positive space for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, and it's been really good to see it develop and to develop it, and but yes, that's where you can come to us for feedback and that sort of thing. And then also, as you were mentioning, Locky, we do then want to integrate more for patrons as well, which, as you're mentioning, something that I'm keen to do. Is to have patrons sort of feature or be around for some of the live streaming stuff. So we're playing with a few different ideas for that. The one that I'm liking and we're leaning towards at the moment is having it where, when we're doing a stream, we'd select a few patrons who perhaps know those armies, or just who we're there to chat with, and we'd cycle through everyone. Of course, it's not going to be limited to a select few. That then actually can participate in the stream, whether that's through voice, just being around in the Discord and chatting with us, or as Locky mentioned, potentially even in person, and doing stuff like that, which is pretty cool. As well as a few other different bits and pieces, patrons helping us to decide what we're going to do and how we're going to run them and so on and so forth. So there's a lot going on there.
And there are going to be some further changes to Patreon. There's some other things that's way on the back end, but which hopefully get up and running by mid next year, and that is going to be really saucy. It's
So that's still a little far out for us to really go into it. But we're excited. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's quite unique as well for I guess the model on how like bat reps and subbing and all that stuff kind of works. We feel like what we've created is kind of something quite different, not in reinventing the wheel or anything, but just different in this context. So
so we hope it works. We hope it connects and that it's something that people want.
100%.
Yeah. So that's all coming in the new year. What else we got coming, Locky?
What else do we have coming? Oh yes, we have a lot of new games we're going to be showing. So the first one off the bat coming early next year is going to be Kill Team.
We've been talking about it for a while, and we've been getting so close to doing it, and we just had little issues here, little issues there that kept pushing it back. But it's coming. We've got it nailed down.
And look, we all know what COVID has done and created consistent roadblocks for everyone, especially in the content creation world. But it was pretty harsh hit down here. But so getting out of that and kind of moving back into normality was also had its challenges. So we stumbled a bit, and we did kind of originally have it planned to get it out before the end of the year. But with the change, the decisions to kind of reorganize and create a better workflow within our studio kind of goes hand in hand with being able to prep and create a really dynamic video for Kill Team that, again, we feel is kind of pushing the boundaries of the type of content that's being produced for that game system. That's very, very easy to understand. That is, because it's a smaller game and because it's a very good game, in my personal opinion. I think it's a really well balanced game and it's really, really fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're kind of doubling down on the it's not interactiveness, but
dynamism.
The dynamicism. Dynamicism? That's not the
Dynamism.
word. Dynamism. That sounds wrong, but whatever.
It sounds wrong, but that's the word. It's very dynamic.
Yeah. Super dynamic. And again, unique. So I'm really pumped for that. And we that won't be far off.
Yeah.
And then
a little further down the line, but definitely not far off, is one we're both super excited about, is Infinity.
Yeah.
We've mentioned that before. We've got a few things coming for Infinity. Again, not going to give specific dates and promises and stuff yet, just because they're still a little far off.
Yeah.
So we've got a lore podcast coming for that, because the lore and the background for it is actually really good.
It's cool, and it's one of the ones that there's just no one's kind of doing it in the way that it can be done depth-wise. And I think that's one of the things that people, don't really think that there is this deep lore behind the game, and the lore it's quite relatable to real world. They're not big leaps, so it's good. I'm very, very into Infinity.
So we've got that happening. We've of course got battle reports for it happening as well. We're still sort of working out how exactly we're going to present them, because they're going to have to be a little different to 40k, and there's going to be a few different challenges to making sure we can show the game properly and really show it off. But that's definitely happening. And the other one that I was going to mention with that one, which ties back into streaming and that sort of thing, is the hobby streams, which in the new year we're going to be kicking off much more regularly in the Discord. And one of the biggest things that I'm going to be doing with that is trying out painting Infinity models, but trying out all of the Duncan Rhodes paints.
Yes.
If you've been following that, he's launched his paint range on Kickstarter. So I think we both have a full set of that coming.
Yeah, the full kit.
And I'm planning to be trying that out and really pushing what I can do with paints and trying that out, painting all the models for Infinity that we're going to use on the channel.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be there with you for the exact thing. I'll probably be doing my my vampires, but
Yeah.
I will be doing stuff with those paints. I'm holding out for those paints because I bought a hell of a lot of AOS vampire models. So.
Yeah. There's an entire shelf in the studio that's just full of unbuilt vampire models.
Oh my god, it's crazy. It's so much.
Yeah. So that's all happening. As well as in the other games as well, we've got Maelstrom's Edge underway, Ninth Age happening, Star Wars Legion and Armada. Armada is such a good game. I wish more people played it. But yes, that's all happening for new games.
Yeah, but 2022 is going to be 40k Kill Team and Infinity.
Yes,
that's the plan for 2022. And just continuing to improve on the quality of product that we produce for you guys.
Absolutely.
And please give your feedback. Like, there's some feedback that happens in YouTube, but as we were saying earlier, as Dalton was saying, the best place to give feedback is in the Discord, because we can kind of actually have a little bit more of a hash out where, like, you might give a feedback on something, and then we can be like, well, what do you actually mean? Or is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And we can kind of actually...
We can actually have that conversation and really work out what we can do to make the content better, to help satisfy what it is you're after.
That's it. And it becomes more of a QA process rather than just a throwaway comment sort of thing. Not that I'm not saying that those are bad or anything, but it makes for a better quality amount of feedback, I guess.
Yeah. And we're already finding that and trying to incorporate everything that we're hearing back from it into how we film and how we produce things. So, and we're just going to keep doing that and keep producing better and better content.
That's it, 100%. And just don't be afraid to tell us your opinions.
So the final thing that we'll talk about that's coming is a bit of a fun one. So over Christmas, some stuff we're going to do while we're not putting out battle reports and things so much. Tim at Dice Arcade has been kind enough to secure us a couple of the Christmas Battle Force boxes. So I've got the one for Necrons. What's it called? The World Scour Legion.
Oh, there you go.
No, the Doom Machine Force, or whatever it was called, was last year.
This is so lame.
This is the World Scour Legion.
Yeah, right.
So
who would ever call it that? Send out the World Scour Legion. Yeah, right.
Well, sorry, hold on. What's the Death Guard one called?
Plague Festa Warband.
It's
better. It's better. It's not as bad.
You know what it is. I was going to make fun of it, but that is better.
It's still bad. It's still bad. Plague Festa Warband. I think the Warband part is cool. I think it would just be like Plague Festa. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, so Locky's got the Death Guard one as well. So what we're going to be doing is over the Christmas New Year's break, we're going to be building and painting the entire thing. Which will be up on Instagram, doing a bunch of stuff there with that, stories, reels, posts, etc. Keeping you all up to date. As well as we're gonna just as a bit of fun, probably stream to the Discord or just do some updates to Instagram as well. Have a fun kind of battle report of just the stuff in the boxes. And we're gonna be
because I think we were
streaming setup.
Yeah, because we worked it out that you can actually. I mean, the points probably aren't going to be equal, but
no, you've got far more points than the Necrons do.
Yeah, but we all have like a HQ choice, a troops choice, elites, and whatever. So we could fill out a patrol in those boxes. Yep. And I got some cool conversion ideas as well on my side. So it's gonna be a fun little project thing to do.
Yeah. And so the other thing we're going to do as well is we're also going to take those and we're kind of going to look at them and go, all right, well. Because a lot of people are going to get these for Christmas or around Christmas, and they're a great way to start these armies. So in and amongst all this, we're going to look at them and go, well, all right, if I'm starting a new army, where do I go from here? And we're going to try and sort of push that angle a little bit and go, well, if maybe if you're looking to get into Necrons or Death Guard and you've just picked up the Christmas Battle Force, do you go, well, all right, where do I go from here? Well, we can look at that and go, well, how about you can think about this, you can think about that. Here's what you want to do with these units you've got, and so on. So to do that, we're actually the next battle report that we're going to film after the Blood Angels and Tyranids one is going to be Death Guard and Necrons, and it's going to be one that uses everything from these boxes, and then we're just going to build out from that to 2,000 points. And we're going to use it as kind of a here's what you can do to help expand your army to make 2,000 points.
This is what you start with, and this is what you end with.
Exactly, yeah. We'll do a podcast on that at the time as well, where we sort of go into it and chat about it a bit, as well as, of course, our usual pre-game show for an actual, more competitive analysis of it. But, yeah, so that should be a bit of fun. So make sure you're following us both on Instagram for that.
Yeah, that's going to be a cool little side thing to do to break up the mold, I think.
Yeah, it's just a bit of fun like that. But that's about it for things that we wanted to talk about that we've got coming. So we can sort of move on to the main thrust of the podcast for today, which is a bit of a retrospective. It's been a year.
Wow. No.
No. It hasn't been a year since we've started, but the previous year has existed as a year.
Oh, yes, sorry. A calendar year has occurred, yes.
A calendar year has occurred. We're coming to the end of it. And, and some things have happened.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, the channel's actually only been running for, I think, about 6 months, not even. I know...
5 months. Our first video was Necrons and Space Wolves 5 months ago.
So then it's actually less. So it's actually more like 3 months, because there was a 2.5 month period there where nothing was being produced. And
I mean, there were podcasts happening.
Yeah, but I mean, like
no battle reports. For
what we
there's a 3 month gap in the main content, which is battle reports.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a blow, I think, for the, I don't want to say trajectory, but the way it was kind of going and the momentum. That's it. The momentum we had was not only internally with each other in the studio, and with Nate and our producer, and the response we were getting and everything, and then it was just bang wall, and that was a real shot to morale for me anyway. It was, because it actually got me down
for me
for a couple of weeks. It really just kind of shot my spirit a bit, and I was like,
it was pretty rough, especially after kicking it off so well and having that start.
Exactly. So, and then, I was like, look, you can look at things that they're out of your control. It happens, whatever. You can either look at it as a chance to kind of build, or as a chance to just keep dragging you down. So just like put on the positivity hat, and all right, well, if we can't do anything, and then that's what spurred on the podcast. I mean, the podcast was something we always wanted to do, but to be honest,
about it as much further down the line.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the extreme lockdowns here in Victoria as a result of COVID, we
probably wouldn't be starting next year.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think this is the blessing in disguise, and it's just a pure example of, like, when something comes along your way and it might not be what you expect, you just have to pivot and move and roll with it, and just kind of tweak and see how you can flex a bit. And even coming back, when we came back out of lockdown and stuff, it was, like I think I said before, it was a bit bumpy, just kind of to find our footing. And then, to be honest, I think that the second half of this year, or from whatever, September or whatever it was, the last like 3 or 4 months, has kind of been that good buffer again to reassess. Now we're taking this break, so that 2022 is just going to be this, skyrocketing into the upper troposphere of whatever.
Yeah. The amount of stuff that we've learned and adjusted and just fiddled with over the last couple of months has been crazy. And it just means that you can look at even the Grey Knights versus Drukhari, actually the Drukhari versus Chaos, which was the first one filmed of the most recent ones.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at that, and then looking through the Grey Knights and Drukhari, the Tyranids and Necrons, the Custodians and Space Wolves, and then the Christmas episode, the Eldarian Imperium. Seeing the changes through there, seeing how we've adapted and how we've changed it. Even just in such a short time, we're producing a much better product than we were, and we're wanting to really push that.
Yeah, and it is just gonna, and that's something that we, I guess, have prided or pride ourselves now on, but also wanted to from the beginning. Just creating a well-produced piece of content. And like, look, issues happen, rules get forgotten, like it's a game, whatever, it happens, but at the end of the day, the focus is basically we wanted producing something that's good and easy and nice for you all to watch, and that was always been sort of the method statement, I guess, of from the beginning.
We want it to feel like you guys are hanging out with us, watching us play a game, and you're in the room, you're there with us,
and having a laugh.
Exactly, yeah. And actually, I suppose on that idea of community and stuff, that's one of the other potentially upsides to the lockdown, was that the Discord got really tight knit and really close, and in a really good way too, not in a gatekeeping kind of where the group
not a cliquey way, no,
but just in a way that people were active on there, and it means that when there's new people coming in, there's a whole community that's active and that's participating, that they can come in and join and be accepted into, and just having a grand old time.
And that's definitely true. I think you hit the nail on the head there, man. The Discord actually did help get me out of that defeatist kind of mindset that we were in.
Well, that's why I wanted to mention it, because it was one of the things that I had with it, was that I was quite down about it, and then got back in, got right involved with the Discord, and saw how great everyone was doing in there, and how everyone was getting hobby done and having a good time and hanging out with each other, and it really helped pull us out of it.
I mean, that was the birth of the real push for TTS too. I think at that point everyone was like, all right, well, we can't play for another 3 to 6 months or whatever, so let's all learn TTS better, and then that became where it was just so regular.
Run TTS better.
Yeah, kind of. I still don't do it. I just get other people to make rooms.
yeah. But yeah.
But it's good. I mean, there's everyone's kind of fighting over getting games and who they want to play and what they want to test and stuff. So it's good. It's good. And that, look, it's a juggling act. Everyone, most of the Discord are, people got families and people have real world commitments and all sorts of stuff. And it's just one of those things that it's one of those approachable communities where if something goes wrong or can't fill in, or the amount of times that like games have fallen through and then someone's been like, oh, so-and-so cancelled, can someone jump in? They're like, yes, sweet, I'll come play. It's just that really kind of blasé sort of environment, which is what's good.
And I want to do a quick shout out to Icon again for being like more active than I've seen anyone, like in general. Like, he hobbies more than I do. He's constantly putting up pictures on the Discord. Like, yeah, good on him.
Yeah, and Icon and Mike, they're probably the two that play other people in that the most. And they're always just keen for games. And they they help keep it. The driving forces, obviously alongside us and everyone else, but they're the head of the pack, so to speak.
Yeah, so big shout out to you guys, and thanks for participating so much, and it's always great to hang out with them. Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
So we might take a quick break. Just let Tim say a few words from Dice Arcade, and then we'll be back to mention Dice Arcade a bit, and then talk a bit more.
DiceArcade.com.au. All the biggest brands in miniatures and wargaming. Free postage over $250.
All right, thanks for that, Tim. And yeah, that brings me nicely on to Dice Arcade. Tim has been incredible.
Yeah.
He came in as a sponsor for the channel, and I cannot say enough good things about him, and about Dice Arcade and how they've been helping out. We're heading up to tournament in January for them. They're sponsoring our tournament in January. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, even on top of that as well, like we've essentially got a commission painter who's painting an army for us through Dice Arcade there.
Yep.
Shout out to @Jolo-Paints on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Josh does take public commissions. I probably should have asked it before I said something publicly, but
whatever. We'll try to remember to check and put it down in the description if he does.
Yeah. I'll and and that connection would never have happened, obviously, if we went with Dice Arcade and stuff, and so that it's just been so good to have someone who's so accommodating and sees what we're trying to do and is trying to do that in their own way and coming to the table with us so that to be able to do this thing together. And I think one of the things that really helps benefit is the fact that, they're based in Sydney, we're based in Melbourne, but then we're covering such a large distance of just equal exposure for each other and just kind of helping to band this community together that is kind of, I mean, and we've spoken about this. We spoke about this in our post Heresy app and a few other people, especially at the tournament and stuff, and other content creators that were there. That the community in Australia currently is quite scattered. So there are people that are doing stuff,
there's
not
the
only just in
Brisbane
the
group
tournament
and
scene,
the Sydney group and the Melbourne group.
And then Adelaide as well. And even WA,
course,
like everyone's just split up. But even like, there's just not a lot of cross promo integration between each other as compared to what it's like in the US and the UK and Europe.
Yeah, and this is a place where we can sort of help to cross some of that and get involved with one of those different groups and really sort of push those connections.
And that's it. And that's what we want Risky Rollers to do, is to kind of be the flagship of that kind of endeavor, I guess, to go, hey, let's try and really kind of come together with a cohesive mindset to make really, really good quality content. And I don't mean quality in terms of games. I mean in terms of production level and exposure reach and all that stuff for everyone, so that we can kind of put our flag on the mountain, so to speak, on a global scale. And being integrated with a legitimate business, established store like Dice Arcade, who's also doing, like, Tim's doing some crazy stuff. It's like tournaments regularly, and not just in 40k. It's in it's in Kill Team, it's Magic, it's all sorts of stuff. He really understands the modern, I guess, system of utilizing social media and all that sort of stuff, which I think we do as well. But I think that's just what helps build that relationship too. It's just look, I have another business, and from my experience in business, I like working with people that are easy to work with. If people are hard to work with, it just makes life so much harder. It doesn't matter about what the other benefits are. You're just like, I want life to be easy and chilled. I don't want to have to stress out too much.
But so Tim and Dice Arcade have been fantastic. Got a connection with Battle Maps as well.
Jack's a legend.
Absolute fucking legend.
I mean, he's been a bit MIA lately. I think his work's been bonkers and stuff, but Jack's a boss. He's another dude we definitely need to shout out for the Discord, who's helped I think every single person in the Discord sort out their airbrush. Like 100%.
Yes.
And he's just got such a grand knowledge of the hobby, and has been around for ages, and is kind of a known name. People know who he is, and he knows who a lot of other people are within the sort of Melbourne scene. So it's,
I mean, in case you don't know who Jack and who Battle Maps are, they're one of the very, very few Australian manufacturers of gaming mats for 40k. He sells his own. We've got our own Risky Rollers mats in production as well. Which will be coming soon, but we not quite sure when.
It'll be next year.
Definitely next year, but
definitely next year. Yeah.
What part of next year?
Yeah.
We're going to hold off on pulling that up, but that's definitely happening. And then that's connected with Dice Arcade as well, who's I believe already stocking.
Battle Maps, Maps mats, Yep. So it's again, this is just reiterating that interconnected community thing. I know that like the guys down in Guff do a lot of that as well, integrating with as many people as possible, and through the tournament scene as well. But just kind of keep doing it and keep growing it and keep getting it bigger. That's the goal. But I mean, look, overall, I think coming out of the horrendous issues of COVID and the limitations that put us on, and then I feel like we came out of the gates sort of guns blazing.
Yeah.
and the response was quite positive. I think there's always room to improve, and the response is getting better and better as more people kind of see what we're doing and get an idea of what we're trying to do as well. And that will grow in time, and that will change in time and stuff. And even with our tournaments and all those kinds of things, how they go as well. But overall, man, the response has been pretty positive. Which I can't thank everyone who listens to the podcast, who watches the bat reps, for everyone who puts a comment down, a like, a dislike. I don't care. Any integration is a good integration, in my opinion, because it's just ways that we can make a better product. And it's with the good, it's with the bad, it's with the indifferent, it's with whatever. So the more response and the more.
Speaking of the bad, I did want to mention you've got a lot of hate in YouTube comments at the moment. I mean, you've had some very helpful ones. Someone gave you some fantastic advice on how to buy a better watch.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Some of that, but you've gotten absolutely reamed in some comments.
Well, and rightly so. When you're rolling ones, like.
Well, yeah, but also like I'm the one making a lot more of the rules mistakes too, and I feel like I've gotten off more or less scot free in a lot of these. So,
but it's because you're not in everyone's face. That's why they don't. It's
I'm sneakily making mistakes in the background when no one's watching.
That's it. Everyone's just like, "Oh, Locky made a mistake. Locky made a mistake." No, it's fine. I mean, look, like I said earlier, mistakes happen. No one's infallible. It's issues. And look, again, to be honest, as long as we're not repeating the same mistakes, yeah. Right. And I know I've just said that, right? 100%. I'm going to repeat a mistake now and then moving forward. But as long as you're not, and this is anyone doing anything in life, as long as you're not repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again, and acknowledging it, it's like, I fucked up. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'll note it for next time, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen.
So I mean, in that sense, I don't want people to stop leaving negative comments because, well, A, engagement's engagement, and B, that's how we learn shit. If we make a mistake, absolutely call us out on it.
I mean, also try and keep it positive and nice. It's not nice being told you shit, but
Yeah. And hey, look, if you've got any sweet watch buying tips, let us know.
I will 100% not read them or follow up on it. How about that?
I'll read them. I'll read them, and then
there you go. Dalton will read it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Overall, it's just been good. I think. I mean, in the first 4 vids, a lot of the response was that seeing the content, homegrown Australian content, of which there isn't as much compared to other parts in the world. And the more and more companies and branding people and stuff that we've spoken to over the last sort of 6 months are just saying that they're just the community is just not starving for it, but just wants more and wants to engage with more. So it's
so that's really where we're trying to step in and make more, and the response has we're enjoying the response, the positivity, the negativity, the criticism. It all helps feed back into that machine of creating better stuff and more of it for you guys.
That's it. And I mean, go on.
No, I was about to push us further on. So go on.
Oh yeah, the same. That's what I was just about to
say. I was going to say, including more stuff in a physical capacity, which is tournaments and things. So
which is what I'm really, really, really pumped about. I think that's one of the things that
awesome.
I kind of have this plan in my head, and I have since I think we first tried to do our first bat rep in your apartment in
that's
Ripon Lee.
That's a story for another. In fact, you know what? I reckon we should do a podcast at some point that is us talking about that story and that thing.
How trash that was, and just how funny it would have been if we'd released that and been like, oh my god.
Can you imagine if we put that out?
Oh my god, it would have been so bad. I feel like we should. I've still got it. We should totally release it.
I think I've still got a copy
as a joke, and be like, hey everyone, this is what we started with.
But we recorded that, which was Deathwatch and Necrons, which is a matchup that we'll have to revisit once your Deathwatch are done.
Yep. But yeah, tournaments. I mean, the idea of what I wanted tournaments to be. That was the first time I was telling you about it, and we've got a. I'm not going to tell the plan now, but we have a plan potentially to. I don't want to say revolutionize, but change the mold on how competitive tournaments are done.
A lot of the emphasis on clarifying
Expectations,
but pushing competitive as a thing. And
Yeah.
going, if we're going to come at this as a competitive event, then we
/
need to
esport model.
Yeah, then we need to treat it as a competition, not as here's a fun day for everyone.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously it should be enjoyable, but the idea being that we would go, all right, this competitive tournament is there for people who want to play competitively for the sake of winning and playing competitively.
And that's the thing. Like,
people who would attend that would enjoy doing that. Therefore,
and that's that was exactly my point was going to be. Is like, I'm one of those people that I enjoy the competitive element of it, even if I lose, like, or if I get bad touched or whatever. The fact that I'm competing, that's what I find enjoyable in those contexts, right?
And balancing that with recognizing that not everyone does find that enjoyable. A lot of people play it more casually and play it to have fun, throw some dice, and crack a few beers. Right? And sort of being able to recognize that and go, well, we need, if we want to push the competitive side of things to become more competitive, we need to
draw the line in the sand, so to speak. Yeah.
Right. We need to clarify what an event should be and how they should run. And just push that division a little bit so you go, well, all right, we want to make it easier than ever to move from like casual backyard or garage gaming to organized play at an event to competitive play at a tournament.
For money or for whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, purely from how you would approach a game, going from, all right, I've brought 2,000 points of stuff. I'm going to throw down with my mate in my garage. I'm going to house rule some stuff and have a good time. Got a few beer can buildings and things like that. Fantastic. Through to, all right, I'm coming to an organized event where yes, there's a scoring system and stuff, but we're not taking it too seriously and we're just having a good time.
Lunch would say something like 40k is the way.
Exactly, and we're actually running one of these start of next year to get a feel for how we should run it. And it's not going to be the only one we run next year, but it is the first, and it's already full. So sorry, but feel free to put your name down for the wait list. But that's going to be epic, and we've got some fun stuff with that happening with Nate as well, who's our producer, going on there. But having that set up, so that's where you'd go for your organized but still kind of casual, kind of fun game day, through to then a competitive tournament, which you would go, all right, you're showing up to compete at an event. Everything is organized and structured. You're expected to almost be a professional when it comes to this. Like, still obviously have a good time, but you're coming to compete and enjoy the competition. Yeah. So, and that's for you more competitive gamers, and which are admittedly a smaller, if quite loud, group or part of the fan base, the community.
Yeah. And also with that, like, with that comes how it's shown, how it's so there is an idea, or the plan is to be having the competitive, and this is not going to be tested at 40k is the way. This is probably going to be tested in our second event, which potentially might be around June, July, but not really sure yet on when. Where we will be streaming at least one table. So and that'll be streamed through our YouTube channel. And then from there, with that streaming comes casting, and it comes cameras not only on the board, but it's also on the players. It's mics for people. It's the casters are hearing what the players are saying, not guessing. It's trying to take the system that exists in esports for things like CSGO and StarCraft and all those kinds of things, and the level of information that is transferred from the caster to the audience via watching the game. That's the plan.
So the comparison, or the example I give every time this comes up, that Locky and I talk about it, that Locky doesn't understand, but I guarantee you it's a good example, is the Pokemon Championships. They do over in Japan every year.
I just don't understand it because I've never seen it. I don't know it. That's all.
I know. Yeah. But anyone watching who knows what I'm talking about, you'll get what I'm talking about.
So we'll put a link in the description to this, so then they'll be able to see it.
They stream these games, and their stream is set up so that there is no bit of information about that game the viewer does not have.
Exactly.
They have like clear tables so you can see the face down cards that the players can't see. They have commentators. They have they can hear what the players are saying. There's constant feedback going on there. You've got entire like decks released, so people know what's in them. Everyone can watch that and understand the nuance and every bit of that game. And we want to get to that same level of coverage for 40k games. And we want to be able to do that at this event and at these events.
So obviously, it goes without saying, but this is not going to be a one and done. First time we try this, everything's going to work and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So this is going to take years to get right? So
yeah.
With the plan potentially to be doing 3 tournaments a year,
yep.
We reckon we can get it. And as those tournaments grow and more people become sort of involved, and people on the back end, other companies and things like that, that's already sort of in the works at the moment. It's all just kind of resting on a proof of concept over this year. That's where we kind of want to like try and pioneer this jump that everyone's been talking about for the past couple of years of skyrocketing 40k to becoming this kind of esport level covered thing game. And I think it's totally doable. It's not like it's impossible. The game is not that complicated. It's not too hard to understand. I mean, God, if anyone has ever watched AFL first time, Jesus Christ, the game is much more complicated than this. So I'm really, really excited about that. It really, really tickles my bones, especially when it comes to event organization and all those kinds of things. I really like doing that stuff. So that is a huge project for next year that I'm pumped and keen to do.
And that whole thing kicks off on the 29th of January with 40k as the way, which is our first event. It's not a tournament. We're not calling it a tournament, and we want to make very clear a distinction between
it is an event
and a tournament. This is that thing we're talking about where it's an organized game day. So it's an organized event where you come along, you play in a structure, and there are prizes and rankings and so forth. But you're there to just enjoy playing the games and enjoy.
Meet some new people, drink some beers, whatever.
There's a loose competition going on, but it's just to have a bit of structure to the day. As opposed to later in the year when we run our first tournament, where we'll be pushing the competition hard.
And also keep in mind it's our first event, so look, things might be a bit, it would be learning. It's learning for us, it's learning for you, it's learning for everybody. It's one of those things.
We might do it, and people go, "Oh, we this and this and this need to change." In which case, great. That's what we want. We want feedback. We want to be able to do it better.
100%. That's it.
Yeah. So is there anything else, Locky, that you wanted to reflect on for the year? Given this is our last podcast for 2021.
I mean, it's been pretty awesome. It's been super busy. I mean, I can't stress enough how the goal of Risky Rollers has been to create a good watchable product for all tabletop, not just 40k, all tabletop, but also build a community that can help make tabletop wargaming or gaming in general more inclusive and cohesive for everyone who wants to get involved. And I cannot stress how important Discord is for that. And it's one of the things that is the bridger or the oil of the machine or whatever analogy you want to use that helps facilitate that process to happen, and it comes from there. And it's just fun. It's just a good thing to have. Instead of scrolling Facebook, I scroll Discord.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much stuff in a day that goes through, and I want to hear what people are talking about, or whatever. And just I guess how grateful I am for everyone who has tuned in and watched. From what did we say? 4 months?
I think 5 months.
5 months, and people, a couple of our vids have had nearly like 3,000 views and stuff. So 3,000 people have taken their time out to watch our content, and all of our patrons, say thank you to them for supporting us already, and that's slowly growing. And Dice Arcade and all the companies that are involved with us, and Jack from Battle Maps, and then Tim at Miniature Scenery, and District Terror as well. Like there's just There's so many people that have just seen us and being like, oh, jumping straight on board. Like within the first, like what, 2 months of it starting was just like other Aussies being like,
crazy.
yes, 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 yes. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that's where we knew we had something at that point. So that's just, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's involved, and a future thank you to anyone who's going to become involved.
Yeah. I mean, the other thanks I'll give out as well. We're on that note, and I forgive me if we've missed you at some point, but I also want to thank Galen over at the Trade Tinker for his stuff.
Oh yeah.
Davidson Wargaming for all his terrain. Charlie and Barley Scenics, of course, with his sweet scenic stuff. All the people you've already mentioned, and of course our wonderful producer.
Oh yeah, Nate over at Think Loud Creative. Himself. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, just very quickly on that, and it's more of a behind the scenes thing to mention, is that how fantastic he's been at getting them happening, and even stepping into more of a directorial role.
Yeah.
And sort of pushing us to constantly improve what we're doing and what we're showing on camera.
So just as a BTS for everyone, all the craziness of all the skits for every app, that's all driven by Nate.
Yeah, he's pushing all that hard.
So we come up with it, but he's like, no. You need to be more ridiculous. And we're like, okay.
Don't worry, we'll get him painting his own miniatures before.
Oh, it'll happen. But he's adamant no, and I'm like, bro, you wait.
I mean, he's already picking up on stuff. He's already calling units by name.
Yeah, that's it.
And things like that, and we're doing it. So
it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all. Just a big old thank you to everyone, really, because it's been great, and it's just I'm so pumped for next year. Next year is going to be a really, really good year for Risky Rollers and for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with that, I think that sums everything up nicely. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone listening.
And thanks for being a part of our audience. And if you're part of our community, thanks for being part of the community. And if you're not, come be part of the community.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much, all the patrons. You're incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone in the Discord for hanging out. It's such a great place, such a great community. Thank you for everyone who watches our videos, who comments, who is involved in any way. It's really amazing. Like even looking at some of the videos that don't do as well, you go, well, that's still that many people have taken their time to watch that.
Mm. No,
I think about how busy I am and how little time I've got, and I go, someone else is giving up their time to watch the stuff that I do.
Mm.
It's incredible, and I don't think I'll ever be able to get over that.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. So Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, so Merry Christmas
for all of you crazy people listening to this on Christmas Day.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like we said, if you're not, where it's future Christmas for us. So
yeah,
hello in the past.
Yeah. So Merry Christmas, very Happy New Year. Hope you got plenty of hobby in over the break, and we look forward to seeing you guys next year.
Hit it off with a bang. Boy.